Welcome, welcome, everyone. I am Kim with Abundant Life Tarot, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to join me. If you're joining me live or watching the replay, I appreciate you. So let's just dive right on in. I'm going to run this intro. Hello. Thank you all so much for being here today. So, what is Tarot Love Clinic? Well, I thought it would be fun, informative, to gather together, whether you're a tarot reader or perhaps you're not a tarot reader. Maybe you're just a person who just really loves to be around tarot readers. I don't know. Maybe you like to, actually book readings. However you're here, there is something here for you. Tarot readers, we are confronted with love questions all the time. And I thought it would be a great idea to have some central topics that we discuss and work through. And perhaps maybe you have some questions that you were asked that really stumped you or really had you thinking about it later and later after the reading. And we can roundtable some of those questions that you were confronted with. So, hello, Anna Luisa. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys can see me and hear me clearly. I forgot to do my little sound check, sound view. And also, we're going to be asking questions with the cards, of course, using the cards, whether we're asking questions about ourselves, or maybe I might do an impromptu reading if we have time. So yeah, we're going to be doing this on a regular basis, an ongoing basis. And I'm excited about it because what I'll do is each week or each time that we're going to have a live, as time permits, I'd like to do it weekly, but we'll vote on what will be the next topic that we delve into. So yay. So now, this week's topic is finding and maintaining love during a pandemic. Now, we've been going through this collectively in the world since March 2020? And it is now, at the time of this live, it is October 7th, 2021. And, each part of the world is in various stages of either coming out and entering the world again. Others are still kind of in lockdown mode. Other people are just like, I'm cool. I'm just not going out. I don't know. So we're all in this space, and we have been in this space. And whether you are single and looking for love, or maybe you're single and totally fine with being single, that's fine too. But maybe you're looking for love. You've been impacted by the pandemic, I'm sure. And if you're in a relationship, a long-term relationship, you too have been impacted. And then as tarot readers, we've been impacted because the questions, it used to be prior to the pandemic, how do I find love? Where can I look for love? When will love come to me? And now it's like there's this sense of like despair, like, will I find love? How am I supposed to make connections if I can't physically be with people? Or, we're meeting people online through online apps and dating. but I just feel like it's just not going to happen for me. And so it kicks it up a notch, for tarot readers, because you've got people asking questions with this tinge of hopelessness. And then you've got married or committed couples who their relationships have been taxed to the max, okay, during this time. And, I've had many friends and family members who every other week, it seems like on Facebook, if there's a post like, yeah, I'm getting a divorce, don't ask me any questions, I'm moving on, those kind of posts. And I'm like, wow. So I wanted to chat. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Anna, for commenting. So tough to read about that. Yeah, there are so many variables at play, right? And that's the thing. And that's why I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we come together and just kind of throw some cards around this subject or just talk about it? I had to fight the urge to do a lot of Googling before, Googling on love and during the pandemic. And, I really didn't want to do that because I wanted to actually consult the cards on some of the questions that I have posed for the divine spirit today. And then, of course, I'll take some questions from you all, or if you want to, I have questions for all of us to throw the cards for ourselves or for others. So, yeah, and especially my clients who come through hotlines, they're the ones that are that's where that tinge of hopelessness really resides. And it's really, I don't want people to be hopeless because it's not a hopeless situation. It's not. I will admit that I did Google about what are the latest apps, dating apps out there. I honestly don't know. I haven't been on the market since 2006? But I did do a lot of online dating back when. But my online dating was Yahoo Personals, AOL, had, before they got bought out by Match.com or that part. AOL, I loved AOL. I loved Yahoo Personals, although there was some nut jobs that I met. And some would like one guy was a cop and he totally freaked me out. What he would talk about. And I'm like, oh no. But what happens is pre-pandemic, we would chit chat the guy or gal. I usually didn't send messages. I have this thing, I'm like, you interested in me, you find me, you send me a message. That's just how it's going to go. So they send a message. I'm like, okay, I'll respond. You respond. And then you make an arrangement for a date at some point in some public place. So that's how it was going before I started dating and then ultimately being in a committed relationship with my husband. So, so I really have to rely on the cards in the reading because although I have been someone who dated in the past, I don't know what's going on. So I lean in on my cards a lot with these type of readings because I'm like, I don't know. And especially during a pandemic, I don't know. I guess people just still virtually date, or maybe they just take a risk and see people anyway. I have no clue. And it's interesting to me. It's just an interesting thing to think about. And then couples. Ooh, I'm in a coupling. So 2020 year with the pandemic was highly stressful, but in a different way. I was working 40 hours per week at my analyst job and then doing tarot readings and YouTubing on the side in the evenings. So that's what I was doing. And my husband was working 60 to 70 hour weeks as a truck driver, a brand new truck driver as of January 2020. And he was gone all the time. But I was stressed because I was feeling like I'm not living a purposeful life. I'm just spending all these hours on a job I'm no longer in love with. And yeah, so he wasn't hardly home. So it was kind of cool. My kids were all grown for the most part, except for my daughter who's 10. She was homeschooling upstairs. I was downstairs working, and it just was different. It was stressful because we're newly in a pandemic. But then year two, our lives completely changed. We're now around each other all the time, and so that's a new stressor because my introverted ways have now really amplified since the start of the pandemic or whatever, and his extroverted ways have really amplified. And so, wow, it's a lot. It's a lot. Politics seeped into our homes and are doing damage to many previously stable relationships. That's right. Relationships, I was shocked to see crumble. And of course, now I, as a tarot reader and as a person who's been on this planet a while, know that that's what relationships do over time. But it just felt like it was just like, I don't know, it was just trippy. I'm thinking of my cousin who just earlier this week, he announced on Facebook, he's like the latest person I know. And his wife and him, like, they just seem like the happiest people ever, so in love. And then, nosy me, I started scrolling through his social media to see, like, well, when's the last time I seen him post about her? And it was like, these people always, let me just say this, they were always on social media with pictures with them and their two cute little girls. I mean, he's like ex-military, I think Air Force, and she's just this cute little housewife. And now, like, no, it's been like since March that I think that they were probably still together. So I was like, oh my God. And then it has me feeling a certain way in my couplehood. So yeah, politics, definitely. It can't help but to, especially in relationships, right? My extroverted husband, he's like, well, if we're wearing masks and I still want to socialize and hang out. And I'm like, no, I don't. I am completely okay with us being holed up for 5 years if need be. So, my friends, my tribe is here on YouTube and then, Instagram and Facebook. That's where my tribe resides. So I don't know, y'all. So that's what I wanted to dig into today, was first to do a little reading for ourselves and my handy dandy deck that I use all the time for love readings, particularly love readings for others. It's the Light Seers Tarot. And share with me also some of your favorite love tarot or favorite love oracle decks that you use for readings, love readings. Share in the comments section if you're watching this on replay, or share in the chat. So I just wanted a card to represent, I wanted a tarot card to represent the energy of my relationship, my personal love relationship in 2020 pandemic. Let's see. I work with jumpers. It's a thing. I tell my clients, even on hotlines, I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. If no jumpers jump, then I'm like, okay. 3 of Wands. God, yeah. We'll talk about that. And now I want to look at my love relationship in 2021. Like, what is the overall energy? A card, please, Spirit. Thank you. Oh, not that many. No. Let me see. Okay. I don't want to roll over my, that's another reason why my cards are banged up. I accidentally roll over them. A card for 2020, 2021. Judgment. Okay. 3 of Wands. So, no, I'm not going to get emotional. 2020 also for me was a year of immense change, but it was me always constantly looking out there. Like, I know there's something better out there for me. I know there's another place I need to be. But we were in the throes of a pandemic, and I'm like, it seems so foolish, but I'm called to see what is out there. My husband had the same longing, but because we had a mortgage, because we have responsibilities, we had one car with a car note or a payment attached to it. Um, it just felt so far away. And then one day, after I got off a Zoom call, I talked about this before, in September. So pandemic started for me, like staying home was like March 26th of 2020, or like that week, that very next week that the lockdown happened. By September, I was fed up. Like I was on this 2-hour Zoom meeting for work, and we were just talking about the most asinine stuff. And I was like, I don't want to sit here all day and talk about this. I want to create. I want to do tarot readings. I want to do spiritual coaching. I don't want to do this anymore. How can I make this happen for myself? And my husband was silently dealing with that, but he was afraid to voice his concerns about how he was like, I don't think I can work 70 hours a week. I'm an essential worker, they say. I just don't think I can do it. But he didn't want to tell me that because I was like, I'm getting ready to quit my analyst job, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to read full time. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. So 3 of Wands is definitely appropriate, I think, because what ended up happening was September, after that Zoom meeting, I call it the Zoom meeting from hell. For me, it was like, I hate meetings too, where like they want to do games and small talk and all this stuff, and they want you to talk all the time. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to talk about the business. Okay, let's have a couple of pleasure, what do they call it? What do you call it? When you're nice and you're just having a little easy banter, and then you get right to work and then you get off. That's it. I don't want to do all the extras. And so I was like, I'm done. I am going to sell my house, and I'm going to sell everything. And we're going to get the hell out of here. That's what I did. I have been using the Uncommon Tarot for love readings, and it's been really eye-opening. Collages are my thing. Collages are my thing too. I actually love, love, love that art style for tarot decks. The last couple of months, I've been using the Stretch Tarot, but I had loved the Uncommon Tarot, and I want to start working with it in love readings too. Maybe I know one of our wonderful members did a mini deck tarot study with the Uncommon Tarot, and I think I will be seeing if that's a deck I can work with. I'll use our tarot study as a jumping off part to get connected with the deck and see if it's one I can use for client readings, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So Judgment. Judgment. Yeah. So 2021 for me is definitely about judgment, like my own analysis, me personally looking at my life, looking at me, looking outward, analyzing everything, also having all eyes on me. Like, people where I come from just don't do these kind of things where they just say, okay, I'm going to live abroad. And yeah, I'm going to live abroad during a pandemic. But that's me. That's crazy little me. Like, so, but awakening and coming home to my higher self. I've never felt more alive than now. I never felt like more free than now. That's why I like this Judgment card a lot. You guys see that? Yeah. So yeah, I want to hear from you all. Whether you're single or not, or single or in a relationship, do you have a card that represents your pandemic love story so far? Whether you want to do 2020 or comparing it to 2021, it's just a fun little exercise to take a look at. Yeah. And the story is unfolding for me every moment. But I love this. I love the 3 of Wands, because let me tell you, it definitely was a 3 of Wands type of feeling a whole year. I went to the Northwest Tarot Symposium it was like March 8th. It was like a long weekend, March 8th or something, 2020. And so, the following week was when shutdown happened. But it was my last like conference, my last public hurrah. And I was so envious of people who got to read tarot full time and got to create full time. I was like, I was her, so, and I remember like people giving me guidance there on how it can be done. And I was still thinking to myself, no, I can't do that. I have a mortgage. I have this career that I need to stick it out. And then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I don't want this career. I've given my life to this type of work for 20 years. I'm ready to now do something entirely for me. So, but my husband and I, our relationship is stronger, but there's still strains and cracks. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, we have different ideals about everything when it comes to how we respond as a family to the virus. So, yeah. Oh, let me see. My pandemic cards drew now was the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. A serious worry about resources. Oh my God. I had a flashback in a dream the other night about when it first hit and all the toilet paper was gone, all the food off the shelves. I don't know how it was in your part of the world, but in my part of the world, people freaked the hell out and the shelves were not stocked for weeks. And yeah, I had a job, but if you can't even buy things that you need, essentials, it was scary. I'm sorry. A serious worry about resources and starting to think about different ways to make ends meet. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I see that. Ace of Pentacles and Queen of Swords. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you for sharing. I'm not the only one up here, like, putting our stuff out there. So yeah, that's what I have been dealing with. That's my situation as it relates to cards. And you know what's funny is I don't really like, some people are like, but did you do a reading on, what's going to happen with the pandemic? I'm like, there's some things I don't feel like reading for. And that would be one of them. I don't. Now, in terms of how I'm interacting with this global thing that's going on or how I can best move through it or navigate it, I'll do readings on that aspect of it. But no, I'm not. No. So I'm, I want to be surprised too. And there's like you mentioned, Anna, there's so many variables. If you ascribe to what I ascribe to in terms of believing that, we're not predestined, we're manifesting as we go, as we download information and we're living out experiences of what has been manifested before. And as tarot readers or as psychics or mediums, we're just looking at the landscape as it may be now, like a meteorologist, right? They, there could be different variables, but this is what we're looking and feeling here. And so that's how I approach it. So I don't really like to read for those type of things. And thankfully, no one's really asked me those kind of questions, but they do ask like, this is hopeless. They don't say that, but that's the feeling I'm getting. And I'm like, no, it's not hopeless. And if you're an introvert like me, you would probably like being, like having a date night virtually. But I get it. That is a challenge. So yeah, we're going to ask the dear cards about that. Let me see. We put extra stressors in our head, right? Yes, that's exactly what we do. And it's not necessary because really our power is in the now. Being able to embrace the moment. I got that message loud and clear yesterday with the reading that I did as part of our tarot study, the Antique Anatomy Tarot study. I asked my ancestors just simply, what do I need to know? Well, you're, allowing that anxiety Eight of Swords mind to get carried away. And you got to remember the truth of the situation is that our power is in the now. And it's perspective. How are you looking at things, right? Are you looking at doom and gloom and manifesting that as you're thinking these thoughts and feeling those feelings all the time? Or is there another truth that is actually much more empowering, which is, well, now I can go ahead and give a try for those dating apps, that I have been putting off for a while. Maybe I will be more open to when my friends say, okay, I know we all can't hook up right now, but let's all get on Zoom. I have someone I want you to meet, and I will not turn my friend down. I'll be open. I'll be more open, And couples, well, I'm going to definitely have to rely on the cards for that. Because I'm telling you, it kind of when I saw my cousin's Facebook post, and this post I saw of his was after I had decided to do this topic for our today's discussion. So I was just like, my God. And I don't want nobody to stay in a relationship that they are completely unhappy or that it really is an irreconcilable difference, right? Nobody wants that. But it is it would be nice that if someone comes to you and they're like, my marriage has been strained. I really want us to be, I want us to be on better footing. I want a new beginning with my partner. Clearly, it sounds like this person who's coming to you for a reading is interested in maintaining a relationship. Okay, well, let's see what the cards come up with how you can best approach your relationship now, or what are things that you might be blind to that you're not realizing that it's your part and why there's so much tension. What is the essence behind the tension? Why is there tension? I guess you call it third-party readings, but I will ask, what's going on with your partner? How are they looking at you in the situation? What are they thinking? Right or wrong? What's coming up? So, and then we look at what the cards are. We look at what comes up in terms of the guidance. And yeah, people will ask, well, what's going to happen? Are we going to be married or stay married? And I give my clients my spiel about my belief systems. Some people will not read for future readings. I do. And I also do timing. So I'll do it, but I also let them know that at any point you or your partner could take a different course of action. Free will, right? You guys have free will to move and go and do what you need to do. You might get this reading today and take a totally different trajectory. And we do the reading, another reading a few days from now, and we're seeing something different. So, yeah. Oh, yes. On the antique anatomy, it really depends on what potions we decide to drink. Choosing what emotions to let flow has been a challenge. Right? You are so right about that. That's why I love my antique anatomy is on my bed. But that's why I love that deck, especially because the elixirs, which is the cups are the elixirs, or the elixirs are the cups in the antique anatomy. And on the little bottles, there's little labels, right? There's little labels that say the emotion of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of anger. I don't know. I'm just thinking of some anger or sadness or this or that. And so we just, like you said, we just don't know which way to go. We don't know how to be or how to feel. We have so many other outside influences, even more now than ever before, telling us how we should feel, how we should be, chill out, don't chill out. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, yeah, I wanted to see what, oh, look what, 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords. So, especially in relationships. It can be quite challenging, right? It feels like loser situation, no winners, or this person's always winning, I'm always losing the arguments. I'm not feeling like I'm being heard, or getting my message across. We've, been going at this for months. It's really just, I'm really mentally worn out from this. I love that. Better ask how each partner can deal with the challenges as a couple. That's right. That's right. Because the truth of the matter is, and only they, the individual, can answer this, but either you are ready to put in that energy and that work to maintain the relationship, and your partner is too, hence the relationship, the couplehood, or you're going to be single. And it's not bad. Like, I'm one of those human beings. I don't know if I always was like that. I think in my early 20s, I was like, I just knew I needed to be in a relationship. But as I got older, I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Yes. Ooh, you're so good. I'm so happy you're here. 5 of Swords. Do you prefer to be right or happy? Waving the white flag, right? Knowing when to wave the white flag of surrender and just saying, okay, I got to choose my battles. I got to choose my battles. Got to choose my battles. What else? I'm going to ask my little love oracle. What else, couples? Oh, codependency. This card is so beat up. Codependency. Healing family issues and reflection and deflection. Wow. Okay. So we have the codependency card, healing family issues. And family issues can be, yes, your immediate little family you've got going on and you created with your partner, or it could be healing family issues with your family of origin, your peoples, your mom, your dad, your siblings, or it could be healing family issues or dealing with past wounds that have affected your lineage and healing that. So reflection or deflection. Are you, reflecting or deflecting? Yeah. Huh. Being careful not to do that. It's time to start the healing, and the healing begins with ourselves. Oftentimes we want to point the direction at our partner for, and I'm not saying all of us do this, but at varying times we may do this. We want to point the finger to them, not realizing that we may be showing up to our relationship as our wounded self, or as the person who is carrying wounds. And maybe we may overreact, or we may not react at all, and we just allow certain behaviors to carry on to a point of just is so unhealthy that now the relationship is certainly on shaky ground. So being careful of all that, like just being careful of that. And I love what you were like saying. Do you prefer to be right or happy? And how do you get your happy, right? What how do you get to your happy? I had some work to do in myself, because I was not happy last year. I'll be honest. I was stressed out, about to go on meds again. And that's the truth. Singles. Singles. Oh, well, we'll go with it. We'll go with the Ace of Pentacles. Singles, what guidance or words does Spirit have? Collectively, of course. This is collective, this guidance that's being downloaded. On relationships, I got the Empress. What do you want to generate? Ideas, kids, help others. I love how you capitalize that with their process of creation. Ownership of success has so many layers. That is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Oh gosh, I love that. I love that. Thank you. See what I'm saying? This is why it's fun. It's like a little round table that we're doing here, right? And we're reading for the collective. I'm curious to see what your card is for the singles. Ace of Pentacles is what I got. I got the Ace of Pentacles. So, and then Oracle cards, baggage is affecting this union. This could be the one. I love that. I love what's coming through. So, Ace of Pentacles, and baggage is affecting the union. So, use this as an opportunity to take a look at the baggage that you may be carrying. Sometimes we don't realize that of what the baggage we really are carrying until we're actually in a new relationship, and then it shows up whether how you cross that, how you deal with the first slight from your lover, or how if you're dating, do jealous feelings come up, or do you shrink in relationships immediately? A lot of times that stuff's not revealed until you're actually thrown into a new relationship, a new beginning with someone, a new living situation. But if you've been around the block, you've been in a few relationships, you've been in the dating world for a while, you have some experience to draw on, to journal about, to meditate on, and to see, like, how did you show up in those relationships? Do you, is that something you want to carry to the next relationship? And what triggered those kind of behaviors? Now, I'm not saying that anything that someone else has done did that, but there's usually something like, oh, this person didn't answer my call for 5 days. So now you have an opportunity to analyze, well, was I blowing them up all the time, and so they just started ignoring me? Or was this person emotionally unavailable? And now I know I don't want an emotionally unavailable person in my midst. You start to get clear based on what your prior experience is. You start to get clear on what you want and what you need from a partner based on how you were showing up in the last relationship. Now, of course, if you haven't really dated or you haven't been in a relationship, you may not know until you start to be in one. But yeah, and I love this. This is like new opportunities are going to happen for you. Keep the faith, okay? New opportunities for, a commitment, a strong bond with someone. And I say that because of this could be the one. This could be the one. This could be the relationship. The next one, you do this work, you invest in yourself, and really, and then these aren't deep dives that you have to do for months and months and months. A lot of times people don't want to do quote unquote shadow work and kind of delving into what's really going on because they think it's going to be this long drawn out process. Now, for some of us, it may be, but oftentimes it's simply awareness. Why do you feel clingy in a relationship to the point where you're texting people and then feeling a certain way when they don't respond back to you? Well, what's that clinginess about? Oh, well, when I was 7 years old, my dad left mom and he just stopped showing up and he stopped coming around. Oh, okay. And you start to have compassion for yourself. But with that awareness, you can start to be like, okay, Kim, check yourself. Don't blow up somebody 50 times and then wonder why they have pulled back. You are, in effect, chasing them now. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Let's see what my friend says. Singles, Page of Swords. Ooh, good one. Presenting yourself to the world is only part of who you are. Don't fear failures because they make you grow and keep the ones who truly want to get to know you. Oh, yes. I love that. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Also for singles, what people say who does not necessarily show what they feel. Words can be shields too, for sure. Especially, yeah, with the swords, right? You can say all, you can do all this talking, but that's not necessarily, and that's, I think that's partly what is challenging in dating in this new environment, right? Because people could be all talk in one way and showing up in one way, but not really showing their vulnerable side, or you not really seeing who they are when there are no words. So that's interesting. Hello, Nina. So happy you're here. Hello, hello. I see I'm joining pretty late. Will you be on for a bit more? If so, I'll grab a deck. Yes, let's see. Yeah, I know there's something happening at 4. So I want to always make sure I'm mindful to get off and, you know, be courteous of our little tarot community. So yeah, I'm happy you're here. Yes, yes, yes. So we are, let's see, I want to make sure I'm covering. We did that. Ooh. So we can ask, what are best practices as readers? Now, for those who are with me, do you read professionally or do you read for others? Whether whether you read for others or whether you read professionally. Some people only read for themselves, and that's okay. But for those who read for others, I wanted to ask Spirit, when it comes to these kind of questions, what are some best practices? Best practices for us tarot readers when we are confronted with a question like this. And yeah, I wanted to see what comes up on that. So I'm going to shuffle. And then what we'll do is I will ask the chat, do they have any questions that they are tackling? Could be about this topic or not. And yeah, maybe have time to do a reading, like, someone has a question. Or if you just have questions about reading for others or love readings or how to deliver them, you can ask me. You can ask me. I need some water, though. I need some water. Or do I? It's just going to make me go to the bathroom right away. Okay. So Spirit, best practices for us tarot readers who read for others. When we are confronted, Knight of Wands. What are best practices? Thank you, Spirit. Deservedness. Oh. Let's see if there's anything else out. Okay. This is interesting. I might need y'all's help. Best practices for us tarot readers who do readings for others, who, with these kind of questions, do we check our, make sure we check our biases at the door. We got the Knight of Wands. Deservedness. I have lots of ideas about deservedness. Separation. Reconciliation. And gosh, all the stressors of what people are, if people are still married or still in their committed relationship after all that they've been through, wow, my hat's off to them. And so it's cool to just be able to be the steward or the one who can remind them of the passion. Like if we see that in the cards, celebrate that. If, helping people to reignite passion within themselves individually and then within their relationships as well. Giving equal import, or there's equal importance in both. A lot of us, can start to feel like we've lost our way when we've been in this kind of situation for months and months, and now years now, it seems. I did not think we would be dealing with all of this still. I'm a little shell-shocked sometimes about it. And we have that. And the reason I say deservedness, deservedness. Hold on, I do need water. Deservedness. You deserve to have passion in your life. Yes, even in the midst of all this craziness. My querent, my sitter, and dear readers, it's it's important to, not allow all the outside noises of everything to kind of inform us and color our readings. Yes, they do color our readings, what we see in the news and stuff like that, but just remembering that our querents deserve, a clear as possible message about how to bring back passion into their life. And if there's something that's blocking their passion or separating or whatever the case may be, to gently remind them that, oh, it feels like you're getting a little off course over here. So here, would you like to explore this? Because I see you're feeling sad and you're feeling this or that. Because a lot of times love relationships are actually symptoms of something going on within the person themselves. And oftentimes it leads to separations in relationships. It leads to sometimes separating from reality for some people. And they start to go down these paths of kind of building this unrealistic reality for themselves. Or it helps, a reading can help reconcile within themselves, reconcile within their relationships, perhaps. Reconcile, most importantly, though, within themselves, coming to peace, reconciling and healing old heart wounds. So, let's see what you got. The Knight of Wands to me may be making sure we leave our triggers outside while reading for others. See, I'm so glad you're here today. Look at you. I knew you were going to have like something good for me. That's right. That's what I was trying to say, was like, check that stuff at the door. Sometimes when I'm in Facebook groups of other professional readers, whether it's for the platform, the hotline I work for, or another type of community for tarot readers, professional readers, they'll be like, I can't believe that this person is saying that's about their partner, or that they are cheating, or that they're doing this, or this person is like upset that their partner just keeps doing what they do, whatever the case may be. And it's like, listen, check that at the door. Just kind of be what do you call it? I just like what you said. I want to say like not an open book, clean slate. Clean slate for each reading. Clean slate. And I'm doing this as if I had some Palo Santo in my hand. Let me see what you got. Nina says, King of Pentacles, trust your calling. Yes, be confident for sure. Own what you have mastered. You are king of your craft. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. And so these are just different things that I do sometimes. I'm like, Like, and it was interesting. It's like, if I go on the hotlines and my client readings, or the clients who come through like my Etsy shop or my website, they're a little different, and they're usually my regulars. I have regulars on the hotlines too, but there's always like this cycle of different types of readings that it'll be like a Tuesday, and everybody's asking about finding love, They're stressed out about it. They're not going to find it. Then the next time I log on, it's a day of, I'm thinking about cheating on my spouse, or I cheated on myself. It's so weird how it goes in cycles for me. I don't know. I kind of like it like that because it kind of like conditions me for the next ones. It's just kind of weird that it has been working out for me like that. 10 of Pentacles, context. Read on the before as well as the now. Oh, yes. We need to pin this. Previous experiences are vital to understanding the current situation and providing good advice. That's right. That brings up a good point too. Don't be afraid. Like, I see this a lot with hotlines where people are afraid to ask for a little bit of additional information. Like, it's okay. In order for you, if as a reader, if you don't have enough information, then mention that. And yeah, do the best you can, of course. That's what we want you to do. But it's important to know the full, as full as the person can share with you. Maybe they're not wordy, who knows? And then when you have the cards before you, allowing your intuition to pick up on the cues of, oh, this feels like something from the past, and say, when you say it out, I'm not sure if this is happening now or in the past for you, or I'm not sure, but it's here. Let me share this with you. And oftentimes they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've been dealing with this relationship, and now it's here, and I'm confronting it again with this partner. You see what I'm saying? So both sides, both as when you're doing the reading and you're talking with people and you're just, delivering the readings, but also when you're reading the cards and picking up on those little cues, or you look and you see the moon, right? And you're like, it feels like things have been quite murky in this relationship, unclear. This person who you're dealing with is very vague. And it just seems like you've been really attracted to these type of situations. It just seems like you're always submerged or in this energy. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, yes. It was like the last several relationships. Look, this is the card, free yourself. The last relationship, I just, I was just like that, or this person I was dealing with just doesn't share with me. And I don't know why I keep attracting these people. I don't know why I keep attracting these situations. Okay, now we got something to work with. Now we know this is a pattern for you. Let's delve a little bit more deeply into that pattern and why it's happening. And it's just like a aha moment for the client or the querent or the sitter. And that's how you empower them, right? Ooh, what you get? Nina got 9 of Cups. Be careful what you wish for. Remind clients they receive in alignment with their energetic resonance. Like attracts like. Yes, you guys are bringing it with the cards today. Yes. Whew. I wish that was something I could put in my profile, like on my hotline profile, but they only give you so much space, so you can't. It's so true. That statement is true. Like attracts like, and what, or if you're going around believing that you're never going to have a relationship, or you're going around with a funky attitude about life, that is going to be what you attract. And some people will try to argue you down about that. And it's like, no, it's very simple. It's like the laws of the universe. Okay? But I don't know. But I'm not afraid. I don't shy away from telling people what I'm seeing in the cards. Sometimes I just, it's like something in my brain just turns off, and I'm just able to just say it for what it is. And with kindness, of course. course, I'm not going to just be like just totally brutal. Like, that's not my style, but people have to hear the truth, and they may not be ready to digest it, but they, if they came for a reading, that they're coming for having you be the conduit, the person who's downloading the information from, if you believe that, I believe that, from the divine, from spirit. They're coming to you for some guidance and some realness. And at some point, they will be ready to receive it. Even if they leave you like a bad review and they're like, I didn't believe anything of what they say. Okay, that's fine. But I know I genuinely gave you this information. So when you are ready to receive it, you came to me. Yeah, let me see. So what's going on, guys? Do you guys have any questions? Any as far as like reading for others, or the challenging times that that we're in terms of love and life and all of that good stuff? Do you find people are now adjusting to the new normal? We all are so adaptable, aren't we? So that is something that I've noticed, but there is also still this thing. Look at the card that jumped, calling in your soulmate. There is this thing, and people that they believe that this isn't going to happen now, and it's like, no. I think for me, if I was on the dating market, I think I would definitely be happy. Like I used to like going on dates, like face to face, but not all the time. And it was kind of like taboo to be like trying to do like a virtual date back in the day. I don't even know if it was possible. It probably was. I don't know. But I think I would like it, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So yeah. So I'm like, what do we need to surrender? What's the collective message, Spirit, for us to surrender and let love in, whether we're single or whether we are in a relationship? Oh, wow. Okay. It's all the things we talked about. It's all the things we talked about. Surrender frustration, whether with yourself, with a partner, or with this pandemia, not like this pandemic situation, or with, past hurts. It says frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. Yeah, sometimes when it's like quicksand, the more you like fight and frustration, it's like it feels like the more you're sinking, whereas you kind of need to relax and kind of say, okay, chill out. Surrender your desire to control people. This is an interesting line. Being over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Whether you're single or whether you're in a relationship. All of us have that to some degree, right? We don't want to say, and we could be the nicest people on the planet, and there's still some level of we want to control a situation or control someone, or control, like we want them to do things the way we want them to. What we've learned from this whole experience that we've been going through collectively in the world with this pandemic is there's some things that are out of our control. And now is a good time to kind of live on life's terms and realize, turn the attention back to self and what are you doing in your present moment? How are you feeling? What are you thinking? Like attracts like. Surrender your desire to control people, and I'll add situations. And surrender your attachment to results. This is one that I had to do before I ended up reconnecting with my current husband. I had to surrender attachment to always wanting to date and have the end result be that I'm going to be getting married to this person. Like that was how I wanted to control the situation. Like I'm not wasting my time. I want to only date people who are serious about it. And after a while, I kept running into a lot of resistance with that. And the people I were meeting were not feeling that at all. And it just wasn't working. And so then when I started saying, you know what, I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to decorate my little condo. I'm going to enjoy spending time with my family. And I'll date to have fun, to just get out and about and have, reasons to just kind of get all dressed up and gussied up and cute. And once I did that, it was like, it changed things. So I surrendered my attachment to the result of needing to have some kind of concrete end game. Like I need to be engaged or in a relationship. And once I let that go, it's like, oh my gosh, all these different men and options came about. It says the formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen. Then let go of the results. So that means, accepting your friend's invitation to go out, or accepting your friend's invitation to meet someone virtually, or starting an online date again, right? Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. Surrender your attachment to the results. Okay, let me see what's going on in the chats. Nina says, I'm transitioning away from my freelance work over the next several months. I want to start reading professionally again, hopefully full time. Oh, okay, Nina, you can do it. You can do it. And I just love that you were freelancing. But yeah, if you've sensed it already inside of you that you're like, this is the direction you're wanting to go, I assure you that there's already been little things planted, seeds planted that are just gestating, and you're doing it right by, acknowledging and being aware of that desire, and then starting to shift on a daily basis towards your goal of towards, making it happen where you're reading full time. And let me be honest. Yes, my full-time role would be tarot reader, but guys, this moving into this house, if we don't get some electricity in the new house soon, I'm going to scream. I work probably primarily on the weekends, because that's especially on the hotlines when there's a lot of business, or I don't just do like I did when I had an analyst job where I'm working 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. It's broken up. It shows up. It's I'm no longer a full-time analyst. Let's see. I have a weird question. How do you handle aggressive denial of clients? Ooh, thank you for this question. And these are the kind of questions I was hoping to get, among other questions. Well, I have one person in mind. Okay. Usually on the hotlines, and nowadays with my clients that find me, I think I may have made my profile so clear that the right folks I've been attracting the right folks to me who are kind of ready to hear the information. And they think I'm so nice that they don't want to like say anything to kind of rock the boat with me. They just kind of go away. They don't even confront me. But the last time I had a really hairy situation with the lady, and this was pre-pandemic, and this wasn't through the hotlines, this was through my Etsy shop, and I'll be transparent with you, she is the one who left me a bad review. Like, so if you're on my Etsy shop, and I'm like, when I tell you, it was so upsetting. She was not happy with what I was saying about her singlehood. I'll just say that. She's not on there, and I think she used a pseudonym, so I'm not giving away her identity or anything on there. She no longer has an active profile there. I don't know. I think she ended up getting quite gnarly with other readers or other people. I don't know what happened, but she did not take it well what I was downloading. And it was a situation where she was living at home with her parents and living in a remote area. And she wants to know, how is she going to attract love? And so you can imagine what was coming up in the cards, about having to make some changes and having to. She had also this expectation that people were just going to find her. She did enlist the help of a matchmaker at one point and spent a lot of money on a matchmaker. But her whole attitude about things and about how the world works, in essence, she just was not feeling. And so when I was being very honest with her, like, there's got to be some drastic changes. You got to move, and these are the different steps you can take, and blah, blah, blah. And she just lost it on me. She blew up my email box. She was very upset with me. She was like, "You're lying. You're not telling the truth." And I'm like, all I want to do is share the truth with you. I have no vested interest in lying to you and trying to tell you something that's not true. Because the last thing I want to do is tell you something and then it doesn't happen. And then there's a whole nother can of worms. So I just was like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And she was like, she said something to that. She didn't like that I said that. And I was like, well, unless you have any questions, like if you need further clarification from the reading, let's just part ways. And then she left me, like, I think 3 bad reviews. And I think what ended up happening was Etsy removed them, because this lady had booked like 3 different readings for me. And then they ended up removing 2 of the 3 reviews that she left. But they left the one that I responded to, that I actually put a little comment. And I was glad. I was like, fine, people need to know. I'm not going to sugarcoat or not tell the truth. I'm going to look at the cards and relay the information. I'm going to be totally professional with you and, try to still help if you're willing to receive the help. Once they're not willing to receive it, I send them on their way. It shook me, though. It shook me, but it was good, because you're gonna run into people who are not ready for the truth. You're not gonna know how they're gonna respond to that. Sometimes they just simply go away and you never hear from them again. They don't leave a review, or they might ask a question and say, why? Like, oh, I did have another person in the hotlines. She was upset, and this is okay. Y'all might feel me on this one. So she says her first thing in her reading request to me is, I want to love reading about this guy that I work with. I work with him. We work in the medical field, and I've gotten readings from other people, several other readers, and I don't want to hear that I need to make an effort or I need to make the first move. I don't want to hear that. I'm like, okay. And then she was like, I want you to be honest with me, though. And she also didn't want it. She made it clear she didn't want advice on how to move forward with this individual. So I said, okay, fine. I'm going to give it to you straight up. This is a man who's highly professional. Yeah, it does appear there was a card that signified that he was feeling her. Yay. But he's highly professional, highly shy and reserved. He's not in any rush. And I do reading in terms of timing. When is he ready for a relationship? The man was not going to be ready for a few years. And she was like, a few years? And I was like, well, yeah, and I didn't even go there where I could have said, well, you didn't want any guidance. You specifically say you didn't want guidance. You also, because you said you got that from other readers. So I'm just giving it to you straight. And if you decide to continue on with this path of digging him and liking him and whatnot, it's going to be a path to nowhere for a long time. That's what it is. And she was like, she left me a positive review, like a little happy face, but then she left like a little sad, like, comment, like, She said it's going to be years, and that's upsetting. And I'm like, yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth of the matter. Just pull the chariot, surrender the ego. The only thing we can control is our own stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Relationships are not the place for control issues. Thank you, thank you. And Ana Luisa, I love your name so much. Let me know if I answered that completely for you, or if you have any follow-up questions to that. But yeah, I just try to maintain professionalism. I used to be a claims adjuster and dealt with, like, when I had to give people bad news, your car is total, or your injury settlement's only going to be this. Not only, I would never use the word only. I just give it to them straight and then let it land on them. And then I'm like, okay, you're quiet. Do you have any questions? Do you have any follow-up questions? Do you need any clarification? Oh, you don't? You just need some space? I'm here when you're ready. Okay. And then that's it. I dip out on them, but I'm supportive still. And I tell them too, I'm going to be a supporter before, during, and after your reading. And we'll get through this together. Okay. Whatever the messages we receive. I don't say, okay, you got this card, you got that. I say, no, look, we receive the 10 of Pentacles and the Moon. We're in this together. Oh, let's see. Right before you said it, oh my gosh. You see how in sync we are? And that's why I knew. I was like, we're going to have Tarot Love Clinic, and we're all going to come together. We're going to get in sync, and it'll be like our little, as a claims adjuster, we used to do like weekly roundtables as claims adjusters. And when we had like really tough cases that we were getting through, claims adjusting, by the way, I used to be in the auto insurance industry, and I handle injury claims. And towards the end, I was handling or dealing with or seeing just catastrophic type of injuries, enough to give you PTSD. But we would have roundtables and discuss different issues that we were having with settlements, or with trying to determine who was liable for an accident, or how we're going to proceed with handling, do we, allow litigation to commence or not, things like that. And we would get together, a group of peers. But I also wanted people who are outside of our little world to see what's going on, what we're faced with, and how we work with interpreting the cards to, and that's what I wanted to do. So thank you both. Advice from the universe. Magician. Nothing is impossible if you have the right tools and the will to succeed. Yes, yes, yes. The Magician actually has been popping up a lot for me, like, and actually in readings for clients. And I love it. It's a beautiful reminder, just as you succinctly put it here. Nothing is impossible if you have the right tools and the will to succeed. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Jesus, that's tough. You want to help and be honest, but she was looking for a confirmation of what she thought. If people can't handle answers, they shouldn't be asking questions. Exactly. And the thing is, I think they're led to come to us, right, and get the answers. But some people, and not all, but some are just not ready. They want to get the confirmation. And some would argue that the hotlines are the space that you just kind of like poo-poo, have everybody be happy. But that's not necessarily an integrity with how I roll. I feel like you can still offer amazing service and be there for your clients, but still be honest and forthright with what's coming up intuitively for you and what you're interpreting in the cards. And I'm not going to always be the one giving you confirmation. I agree though. That's why I don't go around asking for readings for people. Every blue moon, I might get a reading from others, but only when I'm ready for the truth. 10 of Wands. She was not taking responsibility for her own issues, choices. She was not ready to confront her inner work. She wasn't. And I was so sad for her. And at first, I thought she would have been elated because when I did the reading and I presented it to her because it was a video request reading, and for both cases actually. One was a hotline, the newer one that I mentioned, the lady who worked with her colleague, and then the lady who lived with her parents. And I was like, look at what Spirit is saying to you. Here's all the information. And they were just like, I did not come to you for that. I was like, oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I used to, oh, hello, Angie. Thank you for joining. I used to work for an insurer where brokers were our clients, specializing in recreational vehicles. Oh my gosh, I love when folks from my insurance world are around me, and we're also in the tarot world. So I work for a commercial insurance company, and that was like how I first got into insurance. And we insured commercial type vehicles. But they also had, because it was a commercial company, businesses and things. So I was a special handler, a special adjuster for, I think, McDonald's for general liability claims. But then I handled a lot of commercial vehicles, like the big semi trucks, when they went off and hit somebody and caused damages or injuries. And then I went to like called private auto or personal auto. I have been out of the insurance game for not that long, and already I cannot remember the terms. Like, what is going on? Hi, thank you for joining. Yeah. Yes, many people who ask for live readings have issues with codependencies. That is true. That is true. Or love readings. I'm assuming you mean, but you know what? Your statement works for both live and love readings. It works, actually. Yes, a lot of them do. And so as a reader, nobody's expecting you to have a degree in psychology or be a therapist, although that's a bonus, I'm sure. But you have to also recognize that people are showing up as their wounded self, and they could be showing up as their wounded self to you and start to get clingy and codependent. And I will actually possibly do another tarot love clinic in the future about how to deal with people who start to become attached to you as a reader and get addicted to you and wants to start getting readings from you all the time, or they'll say, okay, I'm going to listen to the guidance, and they'll kind of do the guidance, but not really. And then they end up with poor results, and then they want to lash out on you, and then they still want to work with you, even though it's just not a really healthy reader-client relationship. So we might do that if you guys want. But that's so true. Very true. Many of us, probably by design, human beings are kind of codependent. Not all of us, of course, and it can be healthy to be codependent or just, dependent on one another. And then it can immediately go to unhealthy. I found that the VPs from that company would come see me for readings, astrology charts, and tarot. I would book a conference room for the readings. Oh my God, okay. So towards the tail end of my insurance career, I ended up moving from claims to arbitration and then to analytical work. So for the insurance companies. And so at that very end is when I was getting into cards. I would have cards in my desk. We would book conference rooms or I might bust out my cards in the cubicle. They'd be like, okay, we're about to have a unit meeting and it's feeling kind of tense. What do you think it's going to be about? Can you ask your cards? And I'm like, yes. Like at one time, we had a meeting, and I knew I could just intuitively feel it was going to be one of those meetings of we're getting ready to probably do some layoffs type of meetings. And I could just, the way the invite came across and the tone of our manager's voice went, and they didn't really know either what was going on. I later found out they just knew too intuitively something was going on. And then my coworkers were like, as soon as the managers kind of walked off, they were like, "Can you get your cards out?" I'm like, "Yes." And then the cards came out and was like, "Y'all, we ain't got that much time here. I'm telling you, it is like 2, maybe 3 years tops." And sure enough, I left. I always leave. I always intuitively know when a company is about to like downsize or lay off or close. I've worked for now a couple of insurance companies that have closed in my 20-year career. So I just intuitively know, and I usually leave like a couple of years before it's done. All right, my dear, gotta go. This was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. You were awesome. I'm so happy you were here. We're not going to be on. Oh, it's time to go, actually. Yes. 3 cards. Ooh, for Kim. 3 cards. 9 of Wands, Hermit, Lovers. Part of your strength as a reader lies in your stabilizing, grounding force. You have done a lot of inner work. You cut through uncertainty. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you for doing that for me. I'm now, okay, I'm going to look at the timestamp. I'm going to come back and look at your message. I appreciate you doing a reading for me. And I appreciate the message so much. Earlier I got Judgment representing this year for my pandemic love situation. And yeah, thank you. Yes. Oh, thank you for saying you missed me. I missed you guys. I was itching after a while. I was like, it's time for me to get back on there. I need to come back. I need to hang out with my peeps. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Let me know what you think about this little thing I'm planning to do, these little tarot love clinics. And I will be posting another vote in the community tab on what we're going to be chatting about next. And if you have suggestions, please leave them in the comments section, and I will definitely add those to our little list of things we're going to vote on and then talk about. I love what we did here today. Thank you all. Thank you, my peeps in the chat, for joining me and doing these little exercises with me. I send you all so much love and so much gratitude. Thank you for being so supportive and so amazing. Take care. Take good care of yourselves. Bye.